What is up, everybody? It's Waiko, and I have a new project for you, a new bass house banger. What we're going to be doing is basically merging this type of lead, which is this kind of like gritty lead that's being used a little bit in some bass house songs. For example, one of Dirty Palm's latest releases. And we're also going to be merging it with some vocal chops. We're also going to be experimenting with vocoding those vocal chops. And this is the final result. This project is going to be available on my Patreon, don't you guys forget. Alright, so let's get into it. First things first, drums. And then on the B section here, we're going to have these extra drums. Then an 808. I'm using this one so that you guys can also have access to it. Some of you don't have Nexus. I use Nexus a lot, but I figured I'd find a good sample to use as an 808. This is the melody. In the A section, it's doing like part of the melody of the lead. And on the B section, I could have just let it like this, let it be like this, creating a groove, but I just pitched it 5 semitones down to do some like pitch variation on the B section as well. Sound goodizer and kickstart, basically. Now, real quick for the bass, it's a layer. It's mostly stabs from the SIG packs. Alright, so basically also repeating some parts of the melody. And then on the B section here, I'm just creating a groove to add movement as well. So for the bass processing, EQ, more EQ. I'm basically removing the mids here because they're not going to be very helpful. I want the mid lows and the highs for the bass. The mids are kind of it's going to be a little bit messy. I don't think we need it. And afterwards, Camel Crusher, OTT, more EQ. Right here, besides removing more of the mids, I'm enhancing the dirt and removing the really low end and the really high end because we also don't need that for the bass. And then this is just for volume automation, kickstart, and then imager. Okay, so now for the vocal chop real quick. I just loaded a vocal onto SliceX and just played around with the markers. And found this cool combination. Just really, really cool. And then I processed it. So without processing, it's already cool. Just enhanced some of the highs. Compressed with Camel Crusher, OTT, reverb, and EQ. So now with the vocal. Now all that remains is this lead. So basically this lead was made with this first oscillator, a really low end basic kind of saw. I'll just tweak the sync here. And then oscillator B is just a normal sine wave plus 7. Now linked to a filter, and the drive is boosted. The highs are cut. We need to add more distortion. EQ, chorus, hyperdimension. And we get this kind of lead. Now we need more processing outside of that, so EQ, more EQ, patcher with ODT, Camel Crusher, and disperser. More EQ, another patcher, fresh air, serum effects, and OTT. And then finally I did also reverb automation for the lead. So without processing, the vibe is there, but we need to make it stronger. So I also added another layer of white noise. Okay, cool. So now, finally, for this new section. So basically, we still pick up on the vocal, right? On the vocal chops. But now on the mixer, if you check, we have manipulator and patcher that I basically didn't explain. That's a part of the vocoding. So basically I do a little bit of manipulation here, right? Then I go back here. So yeah, basically you set a number here on the input port, and then you go on to MIDI out and select the same number. Then you draw a melody. It's vocoding it to this one note. So basically I did this melody. Basically it's vocoding the vocal. And also this new patcher, because like I don't know, To vocode it, I think it loses a lot of strength, so it's not gonna stand out. So I had to like reprocess it to make it like stronger and stand out. So EQ, sound equalizer, Pro Q3, CLA vocals, limiter, decapitator, and balance. And that's basically it. Another banger. Simple stuff, simple project. Made this project especially simple so you guys can like pick up on it, learn from it. It'll inspire you to start new ideas. That's the whole point of this. If you guys want the FLP, it's going to be available on my Patreon. All links are in the description. Thank you so much for everybody that keeps supporting me. Wike on, wike off.